Our nation, our country, our future is built by scientists, by engineers, by innovators, by men and women who see value in learning and in change. The Moses Kotane Institute nurtures future leaders through education in maths and science. Our innovative maths and science program bridges the gap between students and educators, ensuring understanding and efficiency. Become our partner and let's invest in our tomorrow together. The Moses Kotane Institute.
Vukani Tsele, Moses Kotane Institute. Before we get into what the Institute is actually doing, who was Moses Kotane?
Moses Kotane was an activist, a politician, a very dedicated man. He self-taught individual who hailed from a place called Tampastad in Northwest. Currently now there is a municipality that has been named after him, Moses Kotane Municipality. How the Institute is structured, I think I need to just go back a little bit in terms of how and where it is located as an organization, because then I think it provides a better understanding of ultimately what is it that we then offer. We are funded by the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. The department has a number of entities. For example, tourism is part of the department, trade and investment, KwaZulu-Natal, Itala Development Finance Corporation is part of it. So we're also part of that portfolio. That whole portfolio has a number of entities. We call them public entities. So Moses Kotane Institute is also located within this particular department. It is led by MEC, Mr. Michael Mabuya-Kulu. And we have a funding agreement between the department and Moses Kotane Institute as a non-profit company.
All right, just to stop you there, that's just for KwaZulu-Natal?
For KwaZulu-Natal, yes.
Are there similar organizations in the rest of the country?
None exists like Moses Kotane Institute.
Why was it so unique to come here?
It has everything to do with who came up with the idea, where the genesis, it's the genesis of the idea that people who had this idea, who were passionate about this particular intervention, decided in the end, when the idea was complete, who are we going to name this institute after? So they found and decided the values that Moses Kotane had resonated with their intentions. We have 5 programs. And these programs, obviously, are all targeting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we call, as an acronym, it's STEM. And it's a global approach to providing, 21st century solutions to things like, as you said, food security, for example. We advertise. So we engage with the local municipalities and the school districts. For example, we have what we call Adopt a School program. In this particular instance, we target kids who have passed well at grade 9. We then take over their lives, their educational lives, from grade 10, 11, and 12. We put them in a boarding facility, an existing boarding facility, and we make sure that they have everything. So your tax money takes care of a number of kids and makes sure that the focus is on science and mathematics. Last year, for example, we had more than 80. In fact, we had 97 matriculants, all with a minimum of 4 distinctions, something that we're very proud of. We have then extended that into other school districts so that we can make sure that the program grows. So that's just one. So we target these kids. There's another one where I think it's a perennial problem. Some kid will think, I want to do mechanical engineering. And he or she basics that were not covered. These kids have a full academic year at university to make sure that they're ready for first year. These kids are prepared for your normal year 1, science 1, mathematics 1, so that they can function properly like any other kid that has had a normal schooling experience in a high value education system. So when they finish the program, they're ready.
Does this system apply to all, or is it just for previously disadvantaged?
Absolutely previously disadvantaged. And because we're funded by the province of KwaZulu-Natal Treasury, we focus largely and specifically on KZN students. However, we don't limit these kids to KwaZulu-Natal institutions. They are able, and we have kids at UJ, at WITS, UCT, etc. We are building, even as Moses Kotane Institute. Remember, we're only 5 years old. We established in 2009. So we are building a STEM institute. So we are unapologetic. We're proud. We're clear about what we do. We're channeling through science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Nothing more, nothing less. The programs are approved. So the content is there. And we know that come, say, it's December, for example, we need to advertise. By that time, depending on the nature of the program, because we run a whole range of programs, we should have done the interviews, we should have said, yes, you have passed, yes, you have been accepted, sorry, you have not been accepted, because remember, budgets. So we don't have bottomless reserves. So we know how much we can always take through to a particular institute. So we know that, for example, we can only take 20.
Government sponsors this. Government
Yes.
is putting up the funds for it via the taxpayer.
Correct.
What about private enterprise? What part does it play?
I like that question very much, because part of my portfolio is fundraising. We have been given the, not permission, marching orders really, to say, go out there, find the private sector, find people that would find resonance with what you're doing, and make sure that they partner. Part of the conversation that is out there is that if the economy requires XYZ skills, Moses Kotane Institute, you should be at the forefront of that and know that you require X and this type of skill, so that when we go identify these kids, we are able to channel them so that they can be absorbed by the economy. I think that this is a great opportunity. I see this as a great opportunity to begin that conversation and invite captains of industry, all those CSI projects and funds and budgets, to say, look, we want to partner with Moses Kotane Institute because we know where these kids are. We know where they are. We know how to find them. And the significance of this is that now we're saying, while we know where to find them, we are even more ready with appropriate projects that will help grow the economy and bring them into mainstream economy. We want ultimately to have graduates, beneficiaries who become ambassadors, people who can go back to their communities and say, Moses Kotane Institute took me from point A to point B. I'm on my own, I'm independent, I'm skilled, I can do X, Y, Z to make sure that I live. Now I'm going to go back and help all the others. The transversal module is about Ubuntu, is about that compassion, is about ensuring that everybody understands where they are. I want to quote one of the founding fathers who said, what kind of an engineer are you if you don't know where the rice that you eat on your plate comes from? So it's the depth of understanding of your origin. It's the depth of understanding of your own country. It's the depth of understanding of what it is that your country wants to achieve, and you then become a responsible citizen. I have a dream of one day looking at hundreds and thousands of graduates from Moses Kotane Institute influencing a different type of life for a future South Africa, a responsible citizen, a forward-looking citizen, an ambassador that says, I live in a democratic South Africa where what I have, I should be able to share with others.
Our nation, our country, our future is built by scientists, by engineers, by innovators, by men and women who see value in learning and in change. The Moses Kotane Institute nurtures future leaders through education in maths and science. Our innovative maths and science program bridges the gap between students and educators, ensuring understanding and efficiency. Our nation, become our partner, and let's invest in our future is built by scientists, the Moses Kotane by engineers, Institute, by innovators, by men and women who see value in learning and in change. The Moses Kotane Institute specializes in nurturing future leaders. We have been successfully skilling learners from underprivileged backgrounds since 2009 with our specialized learning programs. Anyone can change the world. They just need a chance.
At the Paarl Media Academy, we're making a difference to people's lives through the power of learning. We're committed to investing in developing highly skilled and motivated people. We offer apprenticeships in 10 specialized trades, customized e-learning and occupational training skills programs. We facilitate comprehensive professional training opportunities, personal development planning and performance management. The result? We empower people to learn, to grow, and most importantly to excel as part of their teams and as individuals. Paarl Media Academy, where your success is our success.
Not sit on your laurels. Some of the companies I know are small companies. It's about re-injecting capital and not buying a BMW too soon, a Ferrari too soon.
Any country would be happy to have these people as entrepreneurs.
The most critical ingredient to achieve that vision is skills.
When you steal public money, my comrade, you are being counter-revolutionary.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2014 ArcelorMittal Skills and Development Summit. Please give a warm Tshwane welcome to your host for the summit, Mr. Peter Ndoro.
You are very kind. That was very warm applause. Thank you so much indeed. And hello and welcome to the ArcelorMittal Skills Development Summit 2014. As you've just heard, my name is Peter Ndoro, and I'm going to be your program director, MC. Although I've got to say that we hardly use the word MC, Master of Ceremonies, anymore. Because I found out in Zambia that a Master of Ceremonies is someone who oversees circumcisions. So I am your program director for the next 2 days. Unless you do want those services. Anyway, a very warm welcome to you. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome, welcome. Raise your hand if this is your first summit. Let's welcome these people. Welcome. And for those of you that are coming back, yes, I'm back. They couldn't get anyone else, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Now, this is the 7th summit in the series that have happened annually. And this year, kindly sponsored by ArcelorMittal. Our thanks also to the Moses Kotane Institute for your sponsorship, and also the number of companies that you see on the boards and on the screens. So let's give our sponsors a big round of applause as we say thank you very much indeed for making this summit possible. Now, we're hoping that this particular one is going to be the most innovative and dynamic yet. I've got to say that this summit has grown over the years into, I guess, what we can agree, one of the most highly regarded skills gathering in the country. And it is yet another opportunity for us to come together and look at this critical area of human capital development. I think it's fair to say also that 20 years into our democracy, skills are needed more than ever if we're going to transform this country into what we need it to be, where unemployment, poverty, and inequality are not the order of the day. In fact, when we look at the problem of unemployment, we sit with this challenging scenario where, in the face of huge unemployment, we have as many as 830,000 unfilled positions for high-skilled workers across the country in a wide range of occupations. And I think that pretty much tells the story of why we're here and what we need to do. If our country needs to be and must be globally competitive, we can't just rely on our natural resources anymore. We need to grow a knowledge-based economy alongside these other economic pillars that have grown this country over the years. And this requires skilling at a faster and deeper rate than ever before in our country's history. So, it's a critical and urgent matter, and that's why you're here. And I think we're all kind of on the same page. There's a lot of work to be done, and it is urgent. So, let's use these next 2 days to learn, to share, so that we can go back out there and make a difference. All of you sitting here today have the capacity to do something phenomenal in your areas. So let's use this opportunity. There's some great minds here. If you look at your program, you're going to see we've gathered an array of speakers. We're going to have focus groups where we'll have interactive sessions and also panel discussions. So we've got all the tools and people to come out with some really useful information that we can take out and go back to our places of work and make a difference. It is critical and it is urgent, and I think we just need to bear that in mind as we deliberate over the next 2 days. Now, just a couple of admin points for you to bear in mind. Your program is just fantastic. It's got everything that you need. Everything except my phone number, ladies, but we can discuss that later. It's packed. You've got your pictures, your profiles of your speakers, and also kind of how the program is going to play out. There are a few changes, and I'll point them out to you as the 2 days unfold. But by and large, use that as almost like your Bible to what's going to be happening over the next 2 days, but I will be guiding you. Very importantly, you've probably seen and interacted with it already, but there's a wonderful exhibition area where there's a lot of resources, companies, skills that you'll be able to interact with. So please, during the breaks, during lunch, etc., walk through the exhibition, and it goes right through to the amber room down at the back as well. So it's spread over quite a wide area. Please take your time and meet everybody on these exhibitions throughout the course of the next 2 days. Also, a first for this particular summit, it's going to be streamed. It is actually, we're live. It's being streamed live on www.capemedia.tv. Okay, so that's on your websites. So you probably want to keep your fingers away from your nose because the cameras are going to zoom in and the whole world will see what you're doing. Okay. The other thing, you've all got these medallions, these tokens. If you were here last year, you know how clever these little things are. So what you can do with this token, first of all, when you meet somebody that you like, you don't even have to ask for her phone number now. All you do is just say, do you want a token? And you touch the token medallions together, and your details automatically get updated in each other's token resource. How great is that? It's fantastic. So that's what you can do with it. The other thing is all the speeches that you're going to hear, if you go to the board outside, the speeches and the presentations are on that board, and you just take your token, and then it gets downloaded. It is just amazing. So enjoy your token and token like mad over the next 2 days. I'm sure that's a verb. Anyway, there you go. All right. Also, we are going to be running this on Twitter. What do you call these? Twitter handles and hashtags. Hashtag Skills 2014. That's the first one. Second one, hashtag Achiever 2014. If you're American, the pound sign, hashtag Achiever 2014, and @skills_summit. And we're going to stream them on these screens here. So please don't write anything rude because everyone will know it's you. And but you can monitor what people are saying, what their thoughts are around the summit over the next 2 days. So hashtag Skills 2014, hashtag Achiever 2014, and @skills_summit. The other thing is, please just look around the room and just see where the exit signs are. In case there is an emergency, please take cognizance of that. My understanding is that there is no fire drill planned for today. So if somebody says fire, it's probably real. Okay, in which case you will all file out in an orderly fashion, nearest exit, and the facilities marshals will direct you where you need to go. Okay. Also, you can't smoke anywhere these days. You know that, so I don't even need to tell you. But if you do feel like you do need to smoke, the N1 highway is out there. I'm sure you'll be allowed to smoke there. Very importantly, later on today, we have the Achiever Awards at about 4:30. We really want you to be there because there's some great work that's being done and that's going to be recognized, and that's going to be followed by a fabulous cocktail party, and then you'll be able to talk at leisure with those phone numbers and that you have gathered during the course of the day. So, cocktail party at the end of the day, 4:30. But as I said, throughout the course of the day, I'll direct you along with the notes that you see in the program. Okay, enough chatter from me. We've got a number of speakers that we need to get through before tea. And it's my great pleasure to welcome them, actually, because I think they're going to set the stage for our discussions over the next 2 days. And my first speaker is a professional life coach and motivational speaker. and he's going to share his thoughts with us. So please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Godfrey Madanhire.
Thanks very much, Peter, for giving me a chance to Boca. Our technology seems to be all right. I've an amazing photograph there. It's amazing because that's the only photograph that I still have of my childhood. Wearing my brown shirt. Of course, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. If we had that, probably I could still have a couple of pictures. The second reason why that photograph is special is because it marks a very important stage in my life. You will see my dad, very romantic, holding on to my mother. My mother was heavily pregnant with my brother, who is the third born. I'm the first. Now, I said it's an important phase in my life because soon after the birth of my brother, my father changed. He forgot that he's supposed to hold on to his wife and be so romantic like in that photograph. All of a sudden, my dad, when he gets paid, he will disappear from home. And you will see him after 4 or 5 days when he's broke again. He did that for a while and he realized it was not exciting. So he came up with something new. He would park the car in the driveway and he would spend a night there with his girlfriend. At some stage he felt, no, it's not very exciting. Let me come up with something new. So he started getting into the house with his girlfriend. He would push my mother out of the bedroom and they would spend a night there. Now, I said that was a very important phase in my life because every night he would do that. I would prepare a speech for my mother. Because I knew if I don't do that, she would leave. So every morning she would wake up and she would threaten that, I've had enough. I think I need to go back to my parents. And I'll come up with a speech. And these different speeches helped my mother stay until I finished school. Now, I'm now speaking for a living. But I'm grateful that my dad did this because that's when I started practicing speaking. I know at some stage I trained as a teacher and I taught in a number of schools. So we sugar-coated my speaking and we called it teaching. At some stage, I worked for a marketing company and I would speak to clients and I would speak to my sales team and we called it sales and marketing. But I wanted to think it was still speaking. Then in 2006, I said to myself, no, I think I'm tired of lying. Let me just call it what it is. It is speaking. So I got into the speaking industry and I built a company called Dream World where I'm working with young people. I'm employing about 150 people. And I'm traveling the world speaking, which is something that started because of what my father did. Now, I'm not going to talk about that because that's not what we're here for today. John Maxwell says yesterday ended last night. So I think that's in the past. Now, I said that photograph is important because of 3 reasons. Third reason is because that's the year my grandfather lost his job. He was working in a mine. Up to now, I'm not really sure why he lost his job. But I spoke to a couple of his friends and they gave us different stories. One of the stories which I'm not very comfortable sharing because I'm not sure if it is true, but I'll share. They said one day he was working with a team of miners and they were in a shaft. So he went in there and he said, guys, if you don't work hard today, we're not going. We're not going home. We'll spend the whole night here. They started complaining, and then he walked away. He went back to the office. Yes, he was a clever guy. He was in the office. So one of the guys was not happy with that, so he followed him and he said, but no, you can't do that. You can't come and say these things to us. Do you realize that I've been working for this mine for about 20 years? So he said, yes, I know that you have been working here for about 20 years. But did you grow in those 20 years? Did you develop in those 20 years? What skills did you learn in those 20 years? For me, I feel you learned a number of things in your first year. Then you kept on repeating that. So for me, in my eyes, you have 1 year experience 20 times. I don't know if he was rude, but yeah, they said that's what he said. He looked at his friend and he said, your problem is because you are here because of what you get. At the end of the month, you want to get some money. In my eyes, you believe in Sigmund Freud's theory of carrot and stick. If you don't get something, you don't work. So there's no way you're going to develop your skills. Be like me. I believe in Douglas McGregor theory. I do it, I grow, because I want to develop as a person. So the guy said, what do you mean? He was getting confused with these theories that were coming up from my grandfather. I think if this guy was there today, we would have benefited working towards the National Development Plan. So he attempted walking away. Then he said, no, before you go, just looking at you and the way you're walking away, if it was the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I think you do what you're doing here at this mine just because you focus on the basic needs. You just want to get your food, you just want to get your shelter. That is your problem. And the guy was getting angry. So my grandfather said, just to show you that I'm better skilled than you, hit my hand. So he put his hand against the wall. With all that anger, the guy came. He wanted to punch that hand, and just before he could do that, my grandfather moved. And he punched the wall. It was painful, I want to believe. He walked away with all that pain. He went back into the shaft. He joined his friends. What happened? You're miserable, more miserable than you were when you left. He couldn't explain to them, so they kept on pushing so that he can tell them. The next thing he said, hit my hand. There was no hole in the shaft, so he couldn't put it against the wall, so he put it against his face. Hit the wall, hit my hand. Just before they could hit, he moved his hand, and he was punched in the face. He collapsed, he went to hospital, and when the superiors got to hear about it, my grandfather was dismissed. He lost his job. That's the story. Now, he went back. He had 2 wives and a number of children. He went back into the house and he said, now we're leaving the mine house. I've been fired. We're going back to the villages. And it was a very long walk. It will take them a day or 2 to get to the villages. So he said, tomorrow morning around 3 o'clock, we are leaving this place. And they knew every time that when they are walking to the villages, he would walk in front of them, like an hour ahead, and they'll follow behind. He believed in what the shepherds used to do. For those that read the Bible, I'm not going to preach. But they will know that the shepherd used to walk in front and their flock would follow behind. Now, because, we believe in driving people, we are behind, I believe in that kind of leadership, my grandfather's leadership. You lead from the front to the front. So that's what he did. And in the morning he walked in front and they followed behind an hour later. And he ran into a lion. It was in the bush. They didn't have it, they couldn't use taxis, they couldn't drive, they couldn't use buses, they walked. There was a lion. He thought about his life, he thought about his family. So he took out his shield, he took out his spear, and he started chasing the lion away. The lion ran away. You know, he was a brave man. He was a hunter. They told me. So he made sure that the lion was very far away from the path because he knew that his family was coming. Maybe you can learn a lesson or two from my grandfather. He sacrificed his life for others, which is what leaders need to do, which is what training providers need to do. They need to spend nights preparing and planning programs that will benefit people, not them. Albert Einstein says, a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. You're not in this world for yourself. You are in this world for others. Are you adding value in the life of other people? Or it's just about what comes into your bank account at the end of the month? You walked for 2 hours or 3 and you got to a junction and realized that his family will be confused if they get to this junction. So he needed to mark the path that they were supposed to take. He started gathering some stones. And he made what we would call a cairn. So his family knew if they can see a cairn, that's the direction they should take. Now you realize that this cairn was made up of stones of different shapes and sizes. If we really want the NDP to be a reality, we need to understand that it takes different stakeholders of all sizes. It takes the government. It takes business. It takes individuals, to come together for a common cause. It's not about training providers competing with each other. If anything, collaboration is the new competition these days. Collaboration is the new competition. My grandfather continued. In some cases, you gather some leaves, fresh leaves, and you would burn them. His family would see the smoke and they'll follow the direction of the smoke. At times, you'll take out a horn, you blow a horn. They knew how he played his horn, and they'll follow the sound of that horn. At times, you'll take a drum, and he would play a drum. His family would follow the sound of that drum. Now, if my grandfather could do this, could use all these different methods, why should a training provider use the same method over and over again? Our methodologies should be different, depending with our circumstances. You'll understand there are some times when my grandfather could not even find those stones. So he had to improvise and come up with something. When it comes to skills development, it's not a one-size-fits-all. These are not socks that are 10 size 6 to 10. Anyone there can just fit in. You come with something specific. There are people that invite me and they'll say, Godfrey, come to our organization and give a talk. You just need a motivation. Say, okay, now fine. What are the issues? What am I supposed to talk about? No, Godfrey, you just come and give a talk, just to pump them up. At times his family would follow his footprints. They knew, no, this foot is our man's foot, or is our father's foot. So they would follow. Maybe you need that kind of relationship with the people that you lead. Maybe you need that kind of relationship with the people that you develop. If it is the government, you want to understand the language that our government speaks. If you're an employer, you want your employees to understand the language that you speak. Doesn't that remind you as well that when we lead people, when we train people, we are leaving footprints in their lives. They will remember us forever. I think I would want my name to be engraved in the hearts of people and not on some tombstone. Doesn't matter it is marble or whatever. If it is engraved in the hearts of people, then it means it will live forever. It's about leaving a legacy. I'm sure the government came up with this National Development Plan. We'll remember them forever. If my grandfather was still alive today, you would realize that there is no need for his drums, horns, and the leaves and stones, because we use navigation systems. You realize that we transformed his horn to a vuvuzela, and we play it in stadiums. Now, that's moving with the times. Now, why should we have training programs that make use of 1970 technology? We've got to be innovative, we've got to be dynamic, we've got to move with the times. When it comes to change, we don't have a choice. We've got to change. Change before change changes you. Now, do we really need a skill summit? I know we need a skill summit because a couple of months ago, an aeroplane with over 200 people disappeared. And no one out of 7 billion people in the world knows where it is. I know we need a skill summit because in 2010, in USA, they constructed a dam, a bridge over Hoover Dam. I just came back from the United States and I went to Hoover Dam. I was so challenged that they said they made use of 300 engineers and 1,200 skilled workers to construct that bridge over the Hoover Dam. Can we afford that luxury? So many skilled people on one project. They can, because they've got them. I know we need a skill summit because according to the government's blueprint, we need to produce 100,000 PhDs by 2030. I know we need a skill summit because we're currently producing 25,000 teachers per year instead of 40,000. I know we need a skill summit because there are teachers that cannot use a computer right now in our schools. I know we need a skill summit because 327 schools in South Africa are not doing mathematics in matric this year. I know we need a skill summit because unemployment is at 5.2 million. That's in the last quarter. According to the Global Risk Report, which came out in January 2014, South Africa is the third highest when it comes to unemployment between the ages of 15 to 24. We are over 50%. So don't tell me we don't need a skill summit. I know we need a skill summit because Wafana cannot qualify for any major tournament unless if we are hosting. Now, while I know all these things, and while I'm optimistic that we'll get there, I also know that when it comes to skills development, it's not something that is done overnight. It's a process. It takes time. It takes a lifetime. We've got to be patient. Yes, we'll get to 2030. We might get these numbers that we want. We might not. We keep on going. There are people that hire me. I go and speak to the organization once and they forget about me. I don't really like those people that much. Because I know it's an ongoing process. I need to keep on coming back. A couple of years ago, a young boy thought of developing a skill. So he started lifting up his leg. Every day, lifting up his leg for days, for weeks, for months, for years. He kept on doing that. Today, he's making a living out of it. skills development takes time. I know if we are patient, in 2030, South Africa will be kicking. Thank you very much.
There's no one who can kick like that in the world, that's for sure. Jackie Chan, watch out. Godfrey, thank you very, very much indeed for setting the stage for us, sharing your life story and that of your wise grandfather as a vehicle to highlight the importance of skills development and also, I guess, the kind of training that's current and relevant to the situation that we find ourselves in. And also reiterating the need for us to be here and to have this discussion over the next 2 days. But more than that, I think, is to go back and actually do something that's going to change the game, because we need to now move and take leaps rather than the steps that we were taking before. So, Godfrey, thank you for setting us up for, I think, a wonderful next couple of days. And I'm sure Bafana will get there. We've got the right coach now, finally. If only they could keep him for more than 6 weeks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Godfrey Madanhire.
Our nation, our country, our future is built by scientists, by engineers, by innovators, by men and women who see value in learning and in change. The Moses Kotane Institute specializes in nurturing future leaders. We have been successfully skilling learners from underprivileged backgrounds since 2009 with our specialized learning programs. Anyone can change the world. They just need a chance.